Even 5 years on from the release of World of Warships Legends, one thing about the game remains as true today as it did on the day this game debuted, and that is destroyers are the most influential class in the game. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 7 Tech Tree German destroyer Z-23, the pinnacle of the OG German destroyer line, and one that has been overshadowed, in my eyes, by the new German destroyer line, which, to be fair, is not as destroyer like as this particular ship is. This is much more of a conventional destroyer compared to something like the Merkur, which is also at Tier 7 in the new line. In fact, we're going to square off against a Merkur. And as I've told you many times before, because I am, in fact, a certified and award winning scientist, one single data point is all you need to come to any conclusions about any scientific topic. And so, therefore, the test that we will perform in the Z-23 against the Merkur should demonstrate conclusively that this is, in fact, the superior destroyer. After all, it is more conventional. It can rely a little bit more on its torpedoes, and even though it, like the Merkur, does have 150 millimeter main battery guns, which are technically cruiser caliber, it doesn't have the same spice affecting the AP characteristics as the Merkur. Nevertheless, as we spot the enemy Merkur in the beginning of the game here near the Bravo Cap, well, actually inside of the Bravo Cap, we are going to open up with the AP. There is one thing that is unique about all German destroyers, the new line and the original one. The HE, while it does have improved pen characteristics compared to every other line, has a rather anemic alpha strike, and you can see that here in the damage numbers against Merkur. They're not terrible or anything when we're firing the HE. We're scoring over 1,000 points of damage practically every time we hit the guy. But of course, in the beginning of the engagement, we scored, I think, two 3K salvos with the AP against the somewhat angled Merkur. The Merkur, for his part, was shooting AP back at us, which is the correct choice, but again, I think he's got improved pen angles, whereas we just have a little bit better alpha on our AP and probably some better pen, given the fact that they are larger guns than you typically find on destroyers. But when angled, these shells, I think, will bounce a little bit more, so I think you have to use HE a bit more often in Z-23 than you do Merkur. Of course, you also have the smoke sonar combo, which is sort of the unique gimmick of the OG German line. I think it's a tool set that a lot of people overrate. In order to use it effectively, you do have to have some other destroyer pushing into you while you've got the smoke screen up. And that way you can spot them with the sonar while you're concealed, and you can melt away their HP while they can't really do anything in return. It's fine in theory, but in order to get it to work in practice, the destroyer actually has to take the bait and push into you. There is a very simple counter to this gimmick, which is pay attention to the team lineup, pay attention to the map, have good in-game awareness, and when you see a smoke screen pop up somewhere suspiciously that could belong to the German destroyer or maybe the Lucian, those are running around too. They also have a smoke sonar combo. If you see the smoke screen go up, wait for it to dissipate before you push in. You're not going to help yourself if you push into the smoke screen and get sonared. But in the case of the Z-23 and the Lucian, these smokes don't last very long. In fact, I would argue that the smokes on the Z-23 are possibly the worst destroyer smokes in the entire game. They last for a little bit over a minute, which is short compared to some other lines, but they take a long time to reload. We've not had to use one yet, but I think that will come up in a little while. We've opened the game by securing the Bravo Cap. I think a fairly important move on this particular map. I find that if you secure the Bravo Cap early on, the enemy team often has a hard time taking it back. But things are developing not so great for the blue team right now. We've lost two ships, including one battleship and one cruiser. And if we take a look at the mini map, we can see that basically directly to the right, we've got one battleship that's kiting away, sarcastically saying nice work, I think, on the comm wheel, as if this is the team's fault, which, I suppose maybe it sort of is. That battleship has no assistance aside from me on this side of the map, and he is being pursued by a Gneisenau, which, to be fair, is not the most threatening battleship in the world. It is a tier 6, and he does appear to be sailing in a straight line, which means he's a prime candidate for torpedoes. The idea here is I wanted to get rid of the Gneisenau and get into the Alpha Cap, but whether that happens or not, I don't know, because the rest of the blue team, aside from this kiting battleship, is all concentrated near the Charlie Cap. We've basically given up map control, and we have no support over here, so we're going to have to do the heavy lifting. But that's exactly what a destroyer, a vanilla destroyer, let's say, like the Z-23 can do. It's a vessel that can rely on both its torpedoes and its main battery guns. And of course, the age-old advice that is not being followed by this Gneisenau is as relevant here as it ever has been. Be sure to vary your course and speed when sailing a battleship, or you might eat a mouthful of torpedoes. The Z-23's torpedoes are not the best in the game, of course. They don't do a lot of damage, but they do reload fairly quickly, and, well, they're good enough to get floodings, which is sometimes all you need to take down an enemy battleship. There goes the Gneisenau for our first kill of the game. And now the choice is open to us. Do we perhaps go to the Alpha Cap and attempt to secure that? Or do we need to stick around here and provide spotting to the interior of Bravo? We do still have that battleship kiting away, but from what I can tell on his position on the minimap, he should have shots into the Bravo Cap. It's just nothing is spotted in there if we're behind this island. So instead of going for Alpha, we are going to double back and go to Bravo in order to provide spotting for that battleship, mostly. We'll also get our torpedoes in the mix. The friendly CV has spotted the Jean Bar on the minimap, and we spot him on the water. That should give our battleship some opportunities to shoot. Jean Bar is, of course, shooting at our battleship with, I think, HE, despite the fact that I think our teammate might be broadside to him. But who am I to complain about such things? Jean Bar is heading toward the edge of the Bravo Cap. It looks like he wants to post up by that island near there, but he's coming to a stop so that he can bow tank. And what have I been saying about stopping stationary and bow tanking in a battleship for so long? That is what can happen if you choose to make those moves. We hit the Jean Bar with 5 torpedoes, which is not enough to take him out. As I said, these torpedoes are not the best in the world, but they do reload quickly. We take the Jean Bar down to very low health, though, and of course, Azurlane Chapayev catches us with the radar, which is a little bit spooky. Out of all the radar cruisers to catch you with radar, Chapayev may be the worst. If you get caught by something like an American cruiser, let's say, well, they've got a 9-10 kilometer radar, and if you're 9-10 kilometers away from them, they've also got very floaty shells, which may be difficult to hit you with. Chapayev doesn't have that problem. It's got a much shorter duration radar, longer range, but it's got those good Soviet ballistics. So it doesn't miss as easily as, say, the American cruisers do. But of course, the radar runs out. We're far enough away, and we're practiced enough in throttle juking that we don't end up taking too much damage from Chapayev. Jean Bar appears to be on fire from somebody else, maybe one of our teammates, and I don't think he's long for this world. No, he goes down. So that leaves Chapayev in the Bravo Cap, which is a little bit of a problem. The enemy holds both Bravo and Alpha. We are ahead on kills. We've sunk 4 battleships. The red team has only sunk 2 blue battleships and a cruiser. So we do have a points lead, but that might not last if these ships are able to survive and continue holding on to both of these caps. Our priority is going to be to take one of them, but Chapayev, of course, is a huge threat to us and a radar cruiser. We know he's used his radar, though. So we put some torpedoes into the water. We've got the AP chambered as the Chapayev goes broadside to us. But do we shoot at him? He doesn't appear to have any assistance anywhere near him. I don't know what happened to the Merkur or where the two red DDs are at this moment. So if we do shoot at Chapayev, he's the only one that can return fire. But we only have 9,000 HP, and he does have those very flat shell arcs. We're going to wait to see if the torpedoes hit their mark. Looks like Chapayev is turning out of their way. The corpse of the sinking Jean Bar happens to catch a couple of those torpedoes, but I don't think that really prevents them from doing their work against Chapayev. Do they actually have enough range? No, they don't. What a tragedy. They run out before they make contact. However, it looks like they drive Chapayev out of the cap. We've got nobody to shoot at Chapayev, though. The last remaining friendly battleship is somewhere near the Charlie cap. He wouldn't have line of sight on the Chapayev. There's an island between him and the enemy cruiser. So even if we sit there spotting the Chapayev, it's not going to happen. He's not going to sink. We're not going to be able to take him out with our torpedoes if he sails away. So the only choice is really to go to Alpha. And if you noticed on the mini-map, you might have seen some planes emanating from nearby the Alpha Cap. Things are kind of going south for the blue team. The enemy team is about to overtake us on points. They have, in fact, overtaken us on kills, and they've still got 2 destroyers, a CV, and a cruiser left. We've only got myself, that battleship, and the CV. But maybe we can even the odds as we draw closer to the Alpha Cap. I don't think I really knew it at the time I was playing this match, which, if it looks familiar to you, it did happen on one of my streams not too long ago. We catch Merkur as we enter the Alpha Cap, but also we catch the enemy CV off guard. Merkur doesn't have much HP from our engagement earlier, so it doesn't take too many salvos to send him back to port. Looks like he's torpedoed us, but we see the torpedoes coming from far away thanks to the gimmick of the sonar, able to dodge those quite easily. Kaga is in a little bit of trouble now, though. He might try to drop us with his torpedo bombers or perhaps his HE bombers. But when you're this close to a CV and they've got to put their planes up and deal with you, well, it can be fairly difficult for the CV. And don't worry, I have sympathy for them. In any case, the torpedoes are rather unsympathetically approaching the Kaga. We've smoked up in order to throw off his drops. I don't really want to get reset if he manages to land a successful one. We do need to take this cap. We have secured Charlie for the entirety of the game, but we need to secure one more in order to maintain a points lead on the enemies, especially with the kill count being so close. So that was really the purpose of the smoke screen, and I think I said earlier, these destroyers, this OG German line, might have some of the worst smokes in the game. You can see there's about 50 seconds left on the duration of this smoke, and it's going to take over 3 minutes for it to reload. Those are terrible numbers. These are really bad smoke screens, but, you know, this is a fairly good ship nonetheless. Kaga's on low HP. We dip back into the smoke screen as he launches his planes. There's not really a good reason to do this. I'm just waiting for my torpedoes really to come off cooldown so I can finish him off with those. It's possible at 5,300 HP that the Kaga's secondaries could present a legitimate threat to our ability to remain in this game. We're close enough that the secondaries are able to fire at us, and see, they do hit there. They light a fire, and they take away a little bit of our HP. So I think a good thing that we managed to stick inside of that smoke screen. Torpedoes make contact. Kaga goes down. We're far ahead on points now with less than a minute left to go. Well, maybe not far ahead, just over 100 points. I don't think Kaga is going to be able to finish us off with his HE bombers. And since he can't, I think that should spell the end of the game, unless somehow the red cruiser or the red destroyer manage to take out the friendly CV, and I don't think they will. I think he is potentially spotted by whatever red ship is directly in front of him to the south of Charlie, which is the enemy destroyer, but I don't think that destroyer is going to have enough time to take out the Kaga with his guns. So this battle should end with our glorious victory. 147,000 damage done, 3 kills, and the high caliber medal in the Z-23. At this point, an old destroyer, overshadowed in my mind by the new, more mini cruiser type Merker Schultz line, but an effective vessel nonetheless. One that can sort of do everything from gunboating to torpedo boating pretty well. Not a bad ship. One that I think I've underestimated. Maybe I ought to play it more. Hope you enjoyed the video for today. If so, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.